Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of Gotham Knights. It's called Daddy Issues. And as it opens, we see Duella and Turner basking in a post-coital glow or haze after their hookup. And she's telling him a story about when she was 8 and went roaming the halls at Arkham. I guess because she lived there, because she was born there, or she was visiting. I don't know. But she was looking to see her father, the Joker, who gave her a Joker card under the door of his cell. Harvey and Stephanie visit the police commissioner to tell her about the Court of Owls. Duella, meanwhile, gives Harper all the juicy details of her hookup with Turner. And then Turner and Duella go off to see a contact of hers on her birthday because she's on some kind of mission related to the Joker. I guess she has a bullet that she wears around her neck, and if she said if she ever saw her dad, she was going to use it to kill him. And I don't know, it's her birthday, so she's going to, I don't really understand what she was doing. But anyway, Stephanie's dad goes and gets a prescription that he shouldn't have for his wife, but it turns out to be a sting. Harvey gets called away from Stephanie in the meeting with the commissioner, as does the commissioner get called away. And Lincoln shows up to intimidate her. He tells her that he can get her dad out of trouble if she rescinds everything she said about him, but she declines to do so. Cullen visits Carrie on her fire escape outside her room where she's been relegated by her mother since she's grounded, and he fills her in on the current goings-on with Turner and Duella. Speaking of those two, they wind up at a bar where apparently they're meeting Duella's mother, Jane Doe, who may have information about what exactly happened to Turner's parents. While talking with Duella, Jane palms her police scanner and then tries to get the bartender in on a way to turn Turner in for the reward. Duella asks Turner to go with her and her mother out of Gotham. But when he kind of disparages her mother, saying, "What, you want me to go with her? She's a criminal, blah, blah, blah," she says, "Look, forget it. Don't worry about it. You can stay here and we're good." And she walks away from him, which bummed me out because I think they belong together. Harvey then shows up at the same bar, and I wasn't clear why that happened. I guess it has something to do with him being called away from the meeting he was in. And he's dismayed to find Turner there. And before he can get Turner too far away from there, before anything happens, Jane drugs Harvey, gets him with a hypodermic needle, after Turner seems to pass out drunk. Duella then finds her mother in an abandoned underground terminal with Harvey chained to a chair in a straitjacket being offered to her as a birthday present. Meanwhile, Stephanie's mother is not happy that she wouldn't rescind everything about the Court of Owls and give up her friends, by the way, which was supposed to be part of the deal, to help her dad get out of trouble, and reads her the riot act, at which point Harper shows up and reads the mother the riot act with tears in her eyes after the mother slaps Stephanie. She explains that when she heard from her brother about what was going on at the police station, because he had gone there in his undercover rookie disguise, and I wasn't really sure why, but he saw that Stephanie was there and thought maybe she was going to rat them out, which caused Harper to think the same thing. So she went to confront Stephanie, but now seems embarrassed that she was wrong. Jane explains to Duella and a surprised Harvey that she and Harvey had an affair years ago, which led to Harvey claiming that she was stalking him, which of course he only thought because it wasn't him that was involved with her, it was his other self. And then Jane reveals that Harvey is Duella's actual father. And it turns out that she only said Joker was her dad so that when she was out in the world, she wouldn't need protection. Everybody would stay away from her because they were afraid of the Joker. Then there's yet more riot act reading when Duella reads the riot act to Harvey for causing her mother to spend Duella's whole childhood behind bars, which he only did because he didn't know that it was his other self that had been with her, and he legit thought she was stalking him and that she was crazy. Jane then takes the bullet necklace off of Duella and loads the bullet into a gun because she knows that Duella always said that when she saw her father, she was going to use the bullet to kill him, and urges her to do it. Stephanie and Harper go to the club where Turner passed out trying to find him, and when the cops show up, they hide in plain sight so as not to be caught by sharing a little dancey dance. And it was very cozy and sexy, and I actually liked it quite a bit. During the dance, Stephanie comes up with a cute nickname for Harper, Bluebird, based on the dye in her hair, the shading of part of her hair, which of course is her name in the comics. Then the two of them work together to help Turner not get arrested after the cops find him passed out in the storage room. When the cop car is disabled by them, the cops call for backup, and backup shows up in the form of Cullen, who picks Turner up. Meanwhile, Duella is holding the gun on Harvey, and he explains his dual personality situation, saying that, look, I didn't do this on purpose. I'm messed up. That's why this happened. But she shoots him anyway, right in the chest, as he's urging her to be the woman he knows she wants to be, now that she knows she doesn't have to live up to being the Joker's daughter, while her mother simultaneously urges her to be her mother's daughter and shoot him. Cullen and Turner hug it out after Cullen reads him the riot act, a lot of riot act reading, for being a jerk, which I didn't quite understand. I guess he was being callous towards everyone after they saved his life and everything, and it really rubbed Cullen the wrong way. So I don't know. Anyway, I guess he really likes Turner a lot, which I didn't see coming, but okay. Stephanie talks with Harper about how now she feels free since she knows that she was never really a daughter to her parents, but more of a puppet whose strings have now been cut. But she laments that without that, she doesn't know what she really wants. But Harper explains to her that, yeah, she does know what she wants, and she just has to live it out. And then they kiss, which I really like. And Stephanie is happy to learn what it finally feels like to get that spark from kissing someone. I thought this scene was fantastic. I thought it had a great deal of heart and feeling. And I like these two characters. I think they're good for each other. I want them to both be happy, and I think they're going to find some happiness together. And I thought it was well written, well acted, well shot. I thought the lighting was great. I loved it to death. Thought it was so good. We then see that Duella and Jane have retreated to some kind of trailer park where Jane calls Duella the most dangerous girl in Gotham. We find out that Harvey's owl coin saved him from the bullet. So he now has this damaged coin because he had it in his pocket. And so now looks like it's going to be his Two-Face coin. But as he's recovering in the hospital, we see that him being Duella's father makes the news. Just before the episode ends, we see that it turns out that Lincoln's wife is really the one in control of the court, to the point where she's the one that had Lincoln run through by the Talon without telling him first, apparently, in order to give him plausible deniability in regards to the court, so that he could say, well, it's not me, they tried to kill me. So that's where the episode ended. I really like this episode. I like that Duella is torn between the fact that she cares for the rest of the team and Turner especially, but she feels a loyalty to her mother, that, even though she was behind bars her whole life, had an impact on it and imprinted on her. And, I like that because it's human to have to go through these things, to be conflicted and, torn between two things. It's relatable. It's something that people go through. And I liked the reveal that Harvey's her father, even though I kind of wish she was still the Joker's daughter, because that's pretty cool. But I like the reveal that Harvey, her actual father, is Harvey, because he is Two-Face, so that makes it cool, almost as cool anyway. But it just adds another layer to everything. It was a plot twist I did not see coming. And, on the one hand, you could say, oh, it's out of the blue. They pulled it out of their ass. But we knew that Duella's mother was in jail or in Arkham. And now we know why. And it ties into the Harvey thing being Two-Face. And I just thought it was masterful. And I think it's going to be a turning point for Duella going forward. There are only 2 more episodes left now if they don't get a second season. But potentially it could be this thing where now she has to reconcile the fact that the district attorney is her father. So I think it's gonna, and that her whole life was, I guess, a lie to an extent. So I think that's great for her character, and I think it's great for Harvey's character. Well, now he's got a daughter, and I just think it's great stuff. It's great stuff. I totally love the relationship between Stephanie and Harper. I've been rooting for this to happen. I think they like each other, and I think they can make each other happy. And I think, for Harper, it represents a point where she's going to stop blocking herself off from other people which I guess she's been doing for some time because she did have that relationship with the mobster at one point. But, she's going to give in to her emotional side and connect with people. And, that's growth for her. And because, when people are vulnerable and they allow themselves to be vulnerable and care about other people, and they allow themselves to be cared about, by other people, that's when they're the most human, I think. And when, they experience life to the fullest, the positives and the negatives, and instead of just walling themselves off and only experiencing negatives, really. So I just think it's going to be great to see. I really hope they get a second season so that we can see more of that. And, I was happy for Stephanie because she's finally awakened to what her heart wants and can now finally experience, what it's like to be with someone that, makes your heart skip a beat when you're with them. I just think it's very cool. So I thought the whole episode was great. I thought it just moved the characters forward. It moved the plot forward. I think it was well acted. The lighting was great. In that one scene, the cinematography was great. The shots, the way they set them up, it felt intimate. I thought the scene in the club was fantastic. The way Harper was walking Stephanie through this whole thing. Hey, calm down. We're gonna be fine. We're just dancing in the club. Pretend the cops aren't here. Just focus on me, okay? And they're getting very, up close and personal and getting through that situation in an intense way, for the situation, but also interpersonally intense because Harper already knows at this point that she has feelings for Stephanie. And so it just was the sexual tension was palpable. I thought it was fantastic. I really, really liked this episode and I really, really liked this show. And I wish everybody liked this show because it's so good and I wanted to have a second season. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. I will be back to review the penultimate episode when it comes on. We have to wait another 2 weeks now for some reason. They're doing another delay, but I'll be here then. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.